The most hated streamer in the world is somehow even more pathetic than people thought he was.
One of them being he flipped an entire golf cart on top of me on purpose.
And at this point, there doesn't seem to be a single line he won't cross for clout and money.
He literally was excited over the fact that we were going to make the most money we have ever made in our lives. It wasn't because he was excited to have a baby with me and have a family and start a new era.
It has reached the stage where his ex-girlfriend did a 5-hour interview exposing him for being a terrible and abusive boyfriend who manipulated her through false affection, trapped her with endless contracts and NDAs, and only cared about the money he was able to make from her. And instead of taking these allegations seriously or addressing them at all, Jack was busy trying to break into events he wasn't invited to, getting into arguments with other creators, and saying the most outrageous stuff he could think of.
I'm kidding, but like, my brother's gay. The fuck? I kissed 2 guys at once. How can I be homophobic? You don't know anything. You're just a woman.
You can still be homophobic.
Oh, and what are you?
All for the sake of farming viral clips, just so he can keep his dying career afloat for a little while longer. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we're taking a look at yet another chapter in the deserved downfall of Jack Doherty. How he's continuing to dig deeper despite hitting rock bottom many times already, how he's turned into everyone's go-to target for insults and hate, both online and in person, and why many believe he should be straight up locked behind bars for everything his ex revealed about his behavior off camera. And on the off chance he actually does, we'll be here to cover it all, so hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any future updates. And let's get on with the video. Jack Doherty is arguably one of the most infamous streamers on the planet. He made a name for himself by harassing people in real life, and then hiding behind his bodyguard when things got real. He also became known for hanging out with a bunch of OF models on streams. We now know the true extent to which he was exploiting these girls, but we'll get to that in a bit. Put simply, Jack was the quintessential nuisance streamer who quickly became one of the most hated figures on the internet. And while this notoriety fueled his growth initially, it has also become a key factor of his perpetual downfall. Because whenever something bad happens to him, not a single soul is willing to give him any support. Every day when Jack is having a bad day is a good day. When I got a notification that he lost everything, I smiled. Jack Doherty is not doing very well. Good. The last time everyone was clowning on Jack, he was trying to gain online attention by faking a robbery.
I just got robbed on Rodeo Drive. 4 armed guys hopped out of their car, ripped both my chains off my neck.
Crashing out over his girlfriend, McKinley, breaking up with him, and calling the cops to escape his clutches.
His hands on her.
It's like my girlfriend called the cops on me. I can't believe what's happening right now. Girls are the fake it. You guys wouldn't even believe it. Bro, you called the cops on me my own.
And failing miserably at farming sympathy from the internet.
I love her, and she's my girlfriend. That's why I've been with her for the past 2 years. You know, it's like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not gonna be with someone I don't love or don't think I would be with in the future. And I don't think it's something like we can't overcome, but like...
Now, from everything that came out when the breakup happened back in May last year, we had some idea of why McKinley made this decision.
He got violent with her last night. He put his hands on her. She came to my house. I'm an old friend of his.
However, even with everything people already knew about Jack, no one could have predicted just how dire her situation really was. The details of her life with Jack became public in October 2025, when McKinley appeared on Camila Araujo's podcast, who was also a part of Jack's group until earlier that year. The single episode was divided into 2 parts, spanning over 5 hours in total, and packed to the brim with some of the most damning allegations against Jack. A large portion of these allegations were focused around the same topic: Jack's borderline obsession with farming content. Admittedly, anyone even remotely familiar with him knew this already. After all, the first thought in his mind after crashing his McLaren and injuring his friend wasn't rushing him to a hospital or even making sure that he was okay. Instead, his first instinct was to start filming the aftermath of the crash, just so he could get as many views out of the accident as possible. As a comment on YouTube, YouTube puts it, crashed going 71 miles per hour while reading chat on a highway full of rain. He gave his bleeding friend a camera and a phone to get the angles. Don't forget, his friend's arm is popped out. This man is just disgusting, honestly. But even that incident didn't fully reveal the length Jack's willing to go to for content. About an hour and a half into the first part of the podcast, McKinley recounted an incident that happened in August last year. Jack took McKinley and others in his crew to a takeover event in LA, which for those who don't know are informal, often illegal and dangerous car meets, where hundreds of people gather to perform stunts like drifting and street racing in a public space. Several of these meets usually happen back to back on the same night as well, with viewers having to drive between them if they want to catch all of the action. That night, Jack and the others had already gone to 2 of these events, and were driving to the third one on their tour bus. McKinley, however, had a bad feeling about the whole thing, and decided to stay back in the bus for the third one. Unfortunately for her, the bus turned out to be far less secure than she had hoped.
Like, we were not hiding anywhere. Like, we were in a party bus, like, very out in the open. And I was sitting in my seat, every type of thing, freaking out, so much anxiety. And then I hear the car door open. And I pop my head up, and I'm like, okay, everyone's back, like, finally time to go. When I looked up from the seat, I make eye contact with the guy I'd never seen before in a surgical mask. Like, it wasn't the 2 guys in shiesties that I had seen, it was a guy with a bag, a gun.
She didn't know what this guy's intentions were, and was understandably scared out of her mind.
And I looked at him. He said, "Who's in this party bus?" I didn't think he knew I was in there. So when I popped up and like made eye contact with him, I thought maybe it would spook him and that he would like get out. And then I saw him hop over the seat into the van. And in this van, like, you're able to stand up fully straight up. He started running like towards me, and I was like, I'm dead. Like, this is the time I like either get like, you know, killed or something horrible. And I just remember saying like, please, no. Like, I just was begging him. I was like, you can have everything, like, of mine. You can have my purse, you can have my money. I couldn't find my purse anywhere. I was like, where the fuck is it? I was like, please help me find it.
Luckily, the guy was only after her money and took off after robbing her. And while losing everything sucked, it was one of the better outcomes of that unpredictable situation.
And get away with it. It could have been a stolen gun. He had a mask on. They could have came back to me dead in the car. But I was like, please help me find my purse. Like, I'll give you everything.
After calming her nerves, she managed to call Jack and the others back to the bus. And after going through such a traumatic event, the least she deserved was reassurance from her boyfriend. Jack, however, had something else on his mind. To him, McKinley nearly losing her life was nothing more than great content that is sure to go viral.
Wait, did he take your stuff?
I think.
What the fuck?
Oh no, I said where's my baggies to get your fucking bag?
He took your purse?
I don't know.
McKinley, where?
Oh my God.
Where's the key? Where's the key? Okay.
But that was the most real trauma.
Even when she explicitly asked Jack to cut the cameras, he did not listen and continued filming.
Like, it was a noise that had never came out of me before. I was freaking out. Jack was, yelling at me. He was like, what happened? And I'm like shaking. I'm like, I can't even like explain what happened. He refused to shut off the camera. He refused to stop his live stream. He was laughing about it, saying like, well, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and like you're gonna wake up to all these TikToks and like these viral clips. And I'm like, Jack, I don't care. I'm like, everything is content. Like, I don't know what isn't anymore.
However, as awful as this behavior was, at least he wasn't the one who caused the incident in the first place. Because, as it turns out, he's not above deliberately harming others just for the sake of farming viral clips. And there's no better example of this than one of his streams back in November 2023, when he flipped a golf cart while McKinley was sitting beside him. He received plenty of backlash for it back when it happened, but for the wrong reason. You see, most people at the time assumed that he was just being reckless, and the cart flipping over was a total accident, with some commenters even telling him to be, quote, careful. But as McKinley revealed during the podcast, this was no accident.
One of them being he flipped an entire golf cart on top of me on purpose, and it was for a clip. I know that because he was trying his best to flip it, and you can see in the footage the only thing that he was looking for was the camera to see if they got it. I want to insert that clip and show you guys what had happened.
And that wasn't even the worst of it. Jack not only did the stunt on purpose, he once again prioritized content over the safety and well-being of his girlfriend.
He had prior obligations to go on a yacht with Antonio Brown, so it wasn't a priority. I was like, Jack, I need to go to the hospital. I was crying. I couldn't even walk. My back was so bruised up, and like my whole entire spine was just bruised. And my neck, it had hit my neck. It literally could have killed me.
He kept trying to convince her that she was okay and that it was nothing. However, when she took matters into her own hands and went to the hospital without him, he suddenly rushed over to the hospital. Of course, the reason behind this visit had little to do with his concern over his girlfriend, and it was more about his desire to get as much content out of it as possible.
And he was filming me. I was so embarrassed because I'm like, I'm in the hospital, you're filming all of these things. He was like, you're the baddest one in the hospital on video. And I was like, I'm just not in the mood for this. But he was filming and they gave me medicine.
But at least he pretended to care while the cameras were on, as he not only never treated her like a normal girlfriend behind the scenes, but sometimes even got physically violent with her over otherwise minor arguments.
He's like, you're not grateful for shit. He was like, I should have never given you a fucking chance. And I'm brushing my teeth, I'm crying, there are tears coming down my face. And he comes right here and he's like, you're a stupid fucking whore, and he's spitting on me. He literally, I could feel the fucking spit come off of his mouth because of how close he was to my face, screaming in my ear. And he pushes me as hard as he can into the wall. And I caught myself in my arm, which I have a picture of the bruise.
Which begs the question, why did McKinley get in a relationship with such an awful guy in the first place? And the answer to this question involves the biggest accusation McKinley made against Jack on this podcast. Put simply, Jack actually treated her super well in the beginning. She talked extensively about how he made her feel loved and protected during the early days of their relationship. There was a time when she could see herself spending the rest of her life with Jack. Despite how he treated everyone else on his streams, he was nice and kind to her.
If he was toxic in the beginning, why was I with him? But he wasn't. He was amazing. And I want people to know that like I didn't put myself in a toxic situation, but he was so different in the beginning. And I know like what people see of him online, like it's obviously negative and all this stuff, but that wasn't who I fell for. It was not that. It was a protector. It was a provider. It was someone that had respect for me and, you know, just made sure I was okay and opening the car door for me, taking me out to dinner. Very respectful.
She even mentioned being okay with his OF business as long as he kept her out of it. But then the mask started slipping, as his true motive became more and more apparent.
Michelle walked into the bathroom I was in. I was by myself. And she basically told me, listen, don't freak out, but Jack really wants you to start OnlyFans. And he said that there's no reason for you guys to be together if you're not helping. And I broke down in tears. I was like, wow, like everything that he had said to me, like, oh, I know you're my wife because you don't have one, and getting me to go to dinner and try to get me on OnlyFans, but it didn't work. Now it's an ultimatum. He wanted me, when he realized he didn't have the control over me when it came to other people and like what they could say, he realized that he did need to create an ultimatum for me. And that was hard for me. And he knew that. He knew what I felt and how I felt about him and the whole situation.
As she mentioned in the podcast, this was quite the shock for McKinley, who never thought Jack would want this from her. But when she tried to argue against it and give her reasoning for why she didn't want to do it, that's when the alleged true emotional manipulation began.
They just start laughing. I didn't think it was funny. I guess they were just like, because Jack had never brought up OnlyFans to me, so it was like,
Because he made everyone else do it.
very awkward. Yeah, he made everyone else do it. Which was, it's sad looking back on it because that was something I respected. I was like, I respect the fact that he cares about my beliefs and he understands that.
Assuming everything she revealed on the podcast was true, it makes it clear why he was so nice to her earlier, since to him, this was all part of his plan to gain her trust and eventually use that trust to expand his OF business even further. After talking to him, she believed she could talk him out of it. Jack, however, was more prepared to move forward with his plans than she realized.
And in my head, I was like, I am not doing this. I'll have a conversation with him tomorrow and I'll just be like, listen, I've been thinking about it. I can't do it. Like, that's where my head was at, but I just literally, I wanted to stop the conversation. I was so uncomfortable, and he told me to sign it. I didn't even have the opportunity to talk to my parents about it. I was gonna call my mom because my mom was more comforting.
Now, it's important to clarify that he technically didn't force her to sign that contract, but from everything revealed about his behavior and manipulation, it's not hard to see why she agreed. The contract he had her sign was also quite exploitative, as it gave Jack full control of all her socials, while also making him entitled to a significant portion of her future earnings. Unfortunately for McKinley, that was only the beginning of her troubles.
Access to my accounts and all of this stuff, the disrespect started showing. Like, he was not as respectful as he was in the beginning. A dinner, you could forget about it. We never went on dates. We never did anything like how we did in the past. He was strictly just, content. So I was like, how do you keep up with all of this stuff?
So not only did Jack love bomb her in the beginning, just so he could convince her to sign that contract, but the second she did, he dropped the mask entirely and became obsessed with earning as much money through her as possible. This also revealed another destructive side of Jack that she didn't know about before: his substance abuse problem. Allegedly, Jack is severely addicted to prescription stimulants, even though he doesn't have any legit medical reason to take them. And if that wasn't bad enough, he allegedly forces many of his employees to take it as well, and even got McKinley addicted to the same stuff, just so they could keep up with his insane content schedule.
I'm exhausted. Like, how does your life, like, how do you continue to do this? And he was like, it's Adderall. Like, you should try. He was like, you will be successful. I'm not proud of it at all, but I had a horrible Adderall addiction dating him because of him telling me I needed to keep up with him. And also, it's like when Jack's face is somewhere, I was always there. I had to keep up with him.
This one addiction also reveals a lot about why he behaves the way he does on camera. As a comment on YouTube perfectly puts it, addicted to drugs plus addicted to attention. That's a bad combination. That said, if manipulating her into signing an OF contract and getting her addicted to prescription stimulants wasn't enough, throughout the podcast, McKinley also revealed many other horrible things Jack did, including actively cheating on her, openly flirting with other girls in front of her, and constantly berating her both on stream and behind the scenes. To Jack, their entire relationship was about the money he could get from OF, and the content he could produce for his other socials. And nothing made this more apparent than when McKinley tested positive on a pregnancy test. If he had even an ounce of real feelings for her, this could have served as a way for them to solidify their relationship into something much more concrete. That's what McKinley expected as well, but nothing in the world could have prepared her for the first thing that popped into his mind after hearing this news.
I told him, and he didn't seem surprised whatsoever. He was like, W. He literally was excited over the fact that we were going to make the most money we have ever made in our lives. It wasn't because he was excited to have a baby with me and have a family and start a new era of our life. It was, oh my gosh, we're gonna start a family YouTube channel and you're going to make so much money when you're pregnant and you have a pregnant belly.
The only silver lining in here was that Jack was very upfront about his intentions. It ended up being a reality check for McKinley, who, after consulting with a few other people, decided to terminate her pregnancy. She did not want to subject herself or her baby to the plans Jack had already made up for them.
Are in an abusive relationship, and they find out they're having a child and they think that the child will, make them a better person.
This incident also gave her the courage to eventually escape his clutches. Now, before moving forward, an important point to note is that while much of Jack's toxic behavior is public on his streams and videos, McKinley didn't provide much evidence for some of the accusations she made against Jack. Though, with everything he's known for, a large chunk of the internet is willing to believe her completely. Some people have also had an issue with her completely glossing over the gross videos she made to promote her OF involving minors, and the fact that her OF is still active months after she separated from Jack, casting doubt on her claims of Jack being the one who manipulated her into it. A proper response from Jack with solid proof can clarify these doubts, one way or another, but from the looks of things, he's showing no interest in defending himself. Maybe he thinks ignoring the controversy would make it go away. Unfortunately for him, the walls are starting to close in from every direction, and there's nothing he can do to come out the other side unscathed. People around the internet are fed up with his antics. The comments under everything he posts are flooded with people either hating on him or demanding justice for McKinley, be it on YouTube, TikTok, or any other social platforms he uses. This backlash has also tanked his viewership, especially on YouTube, where he went from getting hundreds of thousands of viewers per video to often not even reaching 100,000. But online backlash and hate is one thing. Jack's even getting cooked in real life as well, like when he tried to sneak into TwitchCon by making one of his new OF girls distract the guards.
Go distract that guy, make him look to the right, we're all gonna walk left. Hey, where's he going?
Go.
Is your mic allowed in? Why don't we just go in? Hi.
He was also very proud of this little stunt.
Oh, we snuck into TwitchCon. We snuck into TwitchCon. We snuck into TwitchCon.
That is until just a few minutes later, when he got confronted by the guards.
You mind stepping out over here? I need to speak to you.
Yeah.
Just come on out.
I got you.
Come on out over to...
And was promptly kicked out of the venue.
Short to be security. You are way too short to be security.
Now you caught up
can't
with
even
us.
run after us. Why are you low-key such a bitch? Yeah, why are you?
After his master plan of causing chaos at TwitchCon and farming clips failed completely, he became even more desperate and started shouting homophobic slurs just to get attention. And when streamer Peach Jars called him out on it, he had the strangest excuse locked and loaded.
I'm kidding, but like, my brother's gay. The fuck? I kissed two guys at once. How can I be homophobic? You don't know anything. You're just a woman.
You can still be homophobic.
Oh, and what are you? Homosexual?
A reasonable human being.
How am I homophobic? I love my brother.
You're not just hear all the slurs you
So
said?
what was? Doesn't mean I'm homophobic just because I say fat, I'm homophobic. Fat, I'm homophobic.
What was reasonable?
And nothing's gonna happen to me, that's the problem.
He was likely hoping to turn this into a full confrontation, but Peach Jars quickly realized what he was doing and simply walked away, causing him to become even more desperate.
I need a good comeback. I need something from you. You're full of hate. I need you to have one good, hateful comment on me. Something that makes sense. Something that's true. Because I'm not.
I think he's better looking than you.
No, because you have nothing to say. You have nothing to say.
Then, when he was least expecting it, streamer Soul Jakey found him in the crowd and began pressing him for scamming tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars from his fans through crypto rug pulls.
How are you?
How come you rugged all those meme coins, bro? On Pump Fun.
I didn't.
What do you mean?
You did.
You're still streaming?
Yeah, I'm live right now.
On Pump Fun?
Streaming on Pump Fun? Nah, on Pump Fun, nah.
Wait, I think now's the time. I mean, you took all the money from those like 4
I
coins.
didn't take money from shit. Look at the charts, boy.
You didn't rug them?
Nope.
It was a straight red candle, bro.
No,
on every
it's
single
not.
one of them.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't. Dude, I know.
Nah, no one bought it. You rugged for 6K though.
Oh, he rugged a coin for $6,000? What a fuck.
By this point, the frustration of his plans falling apart was clearly getting to him, resulting in him lashing out at Soul Jakey just a few minutes later.
Stupid retard, you can't even let me speak, you idiot retard.
Go ahead.
Can you speak, you fucking idiot?
On that one.
Hey, you guys are so dumb. You got me only 6K.
Dave, you got 6K for a coin.
And if that wasn't enough, he got pressed by another streamer named Canel Joseph, who not only humiliated him in front of a live crowd,
What are your thoughts on Jack Doherty?
He's a put.
Why?
Because it's Jack Doherty, bro. He's a put, bro. If he doesn't have no security, bro, he's...
but also shared the video with a much larger audience on YouTube. And all of this happened on the same night. Jack has become the punching bag of the streaming world, where anyone can walk up, insult him to his face, and the internet would cheer them on. That's not to say this is enough to pay for everything McKinley accused him of. He should absolutely face proper consequences for his vile actions. And for a moment, it looked like his luck had finally run out, because on the 15th of November, he was arrested in Florida for the possession of marijuana and other controlled substances, which were presumably the stimulants McKinley mentioned in the podcast. He tried to act all nonchalant and resist arrest, but forgot that his bodyguard won't be able to save him from the police, and got absolutely humbled as a result.
What? No.
I got him.
Hey, yo, you don't want to go neither. Back up.
I'm just saying I got him.
Back up. Don't worry about it. Back up.
Yo,
Back up.
yo. Where you going? You back up?
Chill. Go to the sidewalk now. Go to the sidewalk now. You want to go with him?
You want to be fucking funny?
Go to the sidewalk now.
You want to be funny? Try to get on the street, go on the fucking street. I know who the fuck you think you are, bro.
I'm getting out.
No, you're fucking not.
He was trying-
Like, after I fucking do this, who the fuck are you, bro?
I was trying to walk up the street. But
Doesn't matter, bro. All you had to do was get in the fucking sidewalk. That's it.
Unfortunately, he was released on bail less than a day later, allowing him to continue being a public nuisance ever since. That said, he is still facing up to 7 years behind bars, which would be a fitting end for him. But even if that doesn't happen, and he's let go with just a slap on the wrist or a small fine, he's still on his way to lose the one thing he did all this for: his career. No one on the internet takes him seriously anymore, and the only people still watching are there to clown on him at every possible opportunity. And the way things are headed, it won't be long before those people get bored as well, leaving Jack to fade into obscurity.